Hillary Clinton becomes first woman to be nominated for president of major party. South Dakota put Clinton over the top. Vermont went last so Senator Bernie Sanders could move that Clinton be nominated by acclamation. I move that the convention suspend the procedural rules. I move that all votes cast by delegates be reflected in the official record. I move that Hillary Clinton be selected as the nominee of the Democratic Party for President of the United States, Sanders said to thunderous applause. Nearly an hour after Clinton was nominated, dozens of Sanders supporters staged a walkout from the DNC floor. After a roll call of states formalizing Clinton's nomination, former President Bill Clinton will take the stage for a history-making appearance of his own at the Democratic convention. Former presidents often vouch for their potential successors, but never before has that candidate also been a spouse. Clinton's campaign hopes the night of achievement, personal stories and praise can't chip away at the deep distrust many voters, including some Democrats, have of the former Secretary of State, Senator and First Lady. Much of the convention's second night will be devoted to introducing voters to Clinton anew, including 3 hours of speakers who will highlight issues she has championed for years, including health care and advocacy for children and families. Tonight we will make history. About 100 years in the making, said Karen Finney, the senior advisor for Clinton's campaign. What we're really going to focus on tonight is telling that story, and telling her story, talking about the fights of her life. The stories will be told by a long list of lawmakers, celebrities and advocates. Among those pledging support for Clinton will be the mothers of the movement, several black women whose children were victims of gun violence. Clinton has met privately with the mothers and held events with them, and they've become an emotional force for her campaign. By night's end, the Clinton campaign hopes to have moved past the dissent that somewhat tarnished the convention's opening day. Supporters of Bernie Sanders, Clinton's primary rival, repeatedly interrupted the proceedings with boos and chants of Bernie. She's acknowledged that she has work to do to gain people's trust, but also it's important for people to understand that she realizes that there's not some magic words that you can say that develops trust overnight, Hillary for America Communications Director Jennifer Palmieri said. Sanders has implored his supporters to not protest during the convention, but he's struggled to control his energized backers. Several hundred people gathered at Philadelphia City Hall under a blazing sun Tuesday chanting Bernie or bust. The morning after his rousing endorsement of Clinton at the convention, Sanders himself was booed as he arrived for a breakfast with California delegates. "It is easy to boo," Sanders said in response. "But it is harder to look your kids in the face who would be living under a Donald Trump presidency." Trump cheered the disruptions from the campaign trail. In North Carolina on Tuesday, he told a convention of the veterans of foreign wars that, "Our politicians have totally failed you." When Trump mentioned Clinton's name, the group answered with shouts of "Lock her up," an echo of the chants at last week's Republican convention. Trump has been a frequent target at the Democratic gathering, where several videos featured his comments about women and the disabled, and tried to discredit the real estate mogul's business record. But unlike the GOP convention in Cleveland, Democratic speakers made a concerted effort to mix the criticism with upbeat remarks about the nation and their party. First Lady Michelle Obama was a star of opening night, making an impassioned case for Clinton as the only candidate in the presidential race worthy of being a role model for the nation's children. President Barack Obama and Vice President Joe Biden will speak Wednesday, along with Virginia Senator Tim Kaine, Clinton's new running mate. Bill Clinton has the spotlight Tuesday night. The former president has campaigned frequently for his wife during the White House race, but mostly in smaller cities than towns, part of an effort by the campaign to keep him in a more behind-the-scenes role. I think the contrast you're going to hear tonight is that while Hillary Clinton is someone that has worked on behalf of families and children, you have Donald Trump who has tried to make money off the most vulnerable among us, Finney said. During Hillary Clinton's first presidential campaign in 2008, her husband angered some Democrats with dismissive comments about Obama. He's had flashes of frustration this year, particularly when his own record on trade and law enforcement has been challenged by the party he once led, but has largely stuck to the campaign's messages. Allies say the former president understands his mission: to promote his wife's experience and personal qualities, not really his own presidency. The stakes for Bill Clinton are particularly high following his much-criticized decision to meet privately with Attorney General Loretta Lynch in the middle of the FBI's investigation into his wife's email use at the State Department. A roll call this year, when each state announces its delegate totals from the primary season, will affirm a nomination Clinton locked up weeks ago. Maryland Senator Barbara Mikulski, the longest-serving woman in Congress, submitted Clinton's name to kick off the ritual. Sanders made an appearance at a meeting of the New York delegation Tuesday, which is right now split between its support of the Vermont senator and Clinton. Some are even promising to skip the vote altogether. "We must defeat the worst Republican candidate in the modern history of this country," he said. "But our second task, in my view, is to continue the political revolution whose goal is nothing less than transforming this country." Sanders delegate Jenny Laurie from Manhattan's West Side said polls showing a close election between Clinton and Trump terrified her. "I think it only shows that Hillary Clinton has made us all question her capability, her integrity, her honesty," she told WCB's 880's Marla Diamond. But she said this election is about issues and she will support Clinton. However, some Sanders supporters say they'll never vote for Clinton, even if it means Trump is elected president. CBS 2's Marcia Kramer reported chaos erupted at the Texas delegation between supporters of Clinton and Sanders, and there was also more verbal altercations between supporters in the California delegation. Many protesting outside the convention are still angry over the release of hacked emails suggesting DNC staffers favored Clinton over Sanders in the Democratic primaries. "All we can do is come out and show our support and keep fighting for Bernie to the end because he's the one who should have won this primary," said protester Kirsten Stade. Other speakers Tuesday include women who have lost their children to gun violence. Among them will be Sabrina Fulton, the mother of Trayvon Martin, and Leslie McSpadden, the mother of Michael Brown.